Hello, this is the Truth Channel, and in today's video, we'll be watching a video which could suggest that Russia is moving nukes and that North Korea is about to do something very bad. Tell us what you think below in the comments.
This is a real capability in a hot war that exists right now in Syria with multiple players. It is an acceleration of a problem and an escalation of real damage that could take place.
Intelligence agencies from Seoul to Washington watching to see if North Korea's combustible ruler is preparing for a provocation sometime around America's election.
Vladimir Putin moving nuclear-capable missiles to the border with Poland and Lithuania. A military maneuver that may violate international treaties, but Putin sees it as a show of strength on NATO's doorstep, as Washington and Moscow head toward the brink of a new Cold War.
We run the risk of having an accelerated relationship that's nothing but potentially bad with Russia if we don't very aggressively address this.
Putin's nuclear brinkmanship comes as U.S. intelligence agencies publicly named Russia for launching cyber attacks on U.S. political groups, finding, quote, based on the scope and sensitivity of these efforts, that only Russia's senior-most officials could have authorized these activities. On Monday, WikiLeaks, which the U.S. has linked to Russia, released new emails from Hillary Clinton's campaign chair as fears grow of Russia's interference in next month's election. Since the collapse of a U.S. ceasefire deal in Syria and Putin's fresh assault on Aleppo, there are new signs Russia is further ramping up its military operation in Syria to help prop up Syrian President Assad.
Russia and the regime owe the world more than an explanation about why they keep hitting hospitals and medical facilities and children and women. These are acts that beg for an appropriate investigation of war crimes.
Russia announcing just today their plans for a permanent naval base in Syria. And Moscow's deployed an advanced anti-aircraft missile system to northwest Syria near Turkey. Troubling development for U.S. pilots flying missions against ISIS. Citing what he called aggressive steps that threaten Russian national security, Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov warned those in the U.S. calling for more aggressive military action in Syria are playing a, quote, very dangerous game.
These are not simply academic discussions about posturing and alignments. This is a real capability in a hot war that exists right now in Syria with multiple players. It is an acceleration of a problem and an escalation of real damage that could take place.
Tonight, tensions between Kim Jong-un and his enemies are ramping up. Intelligence agencies from Seoul to Washington watching to see if North Korea's combustible ruler is preparing for a provocation sometime around America's election. Tonight, the monitoring group 38 North has new satellite pictures of the Sohae satellite launching station in North Korea, pictures which indicate something could be brewing.
What we're seeing now is activity near here. We see crates on the launch pad, and we see activity here near the fuel oxidizer bunker. There are some vehicles out front. And so this could mean that the North is getting ready to launch a rocket.
Sohae is a recently upgraded rocket station, the place where North Korea launched a satellite in February, and other rocket tests, and more.
The North Koreans are developing a larger space launch vehicle, which the technology in that vehicle could be used for an intercontinental ballistic missile.
Those are long-range missiles North Korea is believed to be developing, which could soon have the capability to strike the U.S. with a nuclear warhead. A U.S. intelligence official tells CNN Kim Jong-un could launch more missile tests in the coming weeks. Kim's aggression prompting the U.S. to make its own statement, these B-1 bombers over South Korea. And U.S. and South Korean forces are stepping up military drills like the ones seen here. Tonight, they're conducting anti-submarine drills together off the coast of South Korea, possibly in response to Kim's submarine-launched missile tests in August. Off Alaska, American and South Korean forces are simulating attacks on nuclear facilities. And recently, South Korea's defense minister said his country has elite troops on standby to assassinate Kim Jong-un if South Korea feels threatened by North Korea's nuclear weapons. But analysts say the North Koreans are better trained for that kind of mission.
They have not been operating in North Korea, as far as we know, for decades. And so they don't have the practical experience. The North Korean Special Operation Forces have operated in South Korea recently and are probably more capable than the South Korean counterparts.
North Korean special forces have launched several commando raids inside South Korea and made multiple attempts to assassinate South Korean presidents in years past.
And Kim's regime has responded to the South Korean threat to target Kim, saying that if that happens, North Korea is going to reduce the South Korean capital, Seoul, to ashes, and that they'll wipe the U.S. territory of Guam from the face of the earth.